And we are live. Hello and welcome back to the series of kind of Easter holiday streams, video game streams that I am currently doing. Today you join me for some Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020 flight training challenges, flight trainings basically, maybe some landing challenges, and later on I will play some more This is the Police too, because I really enjoyed the management aspect of the game yesterday. For now, today we are using, and let me adjust the camera actually a bit more, the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo yoke. So the Alpha is the yoke, the Bravo is the quadrat, the throttle, and the throttle is set up currently in a very simple engine aircraft configuration. So we have our throttle as well as the mixture. Nothing else is being used, so we have four quadrants for throttle slots that are not being used for now. We are only using the throttle as well as the mixture, fuel mixture. Let's set the parking brake on, and I think we are pretty much ready to go when it comes to sorry, let me adjust the camera a bit better. Maybe like that. Okay, maybe a bit more to the right. Yeah, let me know if you think the camera setup is stupid, and I can always adjust it a bit. Anyway, welcome back, and yeah, let's start with some flight training. So I will skip now the takeoff and landing one, just because it has been quite irritating before when I tried it this morning. However, I will attempt the Bush Pilot final training, which is completing the kind of like the full flight, combining all of those aspects that we've learned before. I have not attempted this one at all, and I definitely enjoyed the airplane, so the Icon airplane. So I thought I might start with this one. So this is the kind of flight plan. So we need to take off from this water lake, then we need to fly along the mountains and probably land in the bay over here. So as I have not really tried this before, I might fail miserably, but at least you're here for the ride alongside me. So I'm just wondering which set of throttles does the Icon airplane use, but I bet it's like a very simple one. I don't think we control the propeller in the Icon airplane, so I think we should be good. So let's try this. Let's go YOLO.
Now
okay.
That we've been through the basics, let's put your bush flying skills to the test.
Flaps 10.
We're going to take a short trip through the mountains to Dogfish Bay. Get set
Sounds
up
good.
for a water takeoff. I'd keep the gear retracted when on water.
You mean I should go full flaps? Alright, full flaps, okay.
Gear retracted. I'd keep the gear retracted when on water. Great, now get us airborne.
Cool, I didn't notice the gear level
when on water.
retracted. So, okay, yeah, let's just take off. I don't know what's happening. Let's take off. I got confused with the gear, but let's continue. Okay, wow, it's accelerating quickly, 50 knots. Wow. Okay. 100 feet.
Now bring in the flaps and keep us climbing to an altitude of 1500
Okay,
feet.
flaps. 0. And we need to be climbing, so let's use actually the trim. Oh, which is quite aggressive already, 36. Okay, let's reach 1500 feet. Let's keep an eye on the airspeed. And the trim is too aggressive, I think. Let's reduce the trim. And the airspeed is live again. The trim is still too high, too steep. Wow, it's a beautiful surrounding. And I didn't realize just how powerful the Icon engine was, like coming from the Cessna, from the previous challenge, you can already feel immediately that the power ratio, like the weight of the aircraft versus the engine power,
Maintain
is...
an altitude of 1,500 feet and
Okay,
head
sorry.
over to the valley up ahead.
Okay, I need to maintain 1500 feet, so let's level off the trim. And let's maintain and not continue to... sorry. I need to... Okay. Okay, wow, oh, we are over speeding, so throttle back,
Turn to the right here and maneuver through the valley.
and we are
Wind is now coming from our left.
maintaining
So
around
decide which
1500
side
feet.
of the valley to fly over to avoid downdrafts.
Oh, I didn't pay attention to this lesson, so let's, wow, and the trim is, what's happening to the trim? Okay, let's set the trim around 5%. Okay, sorry, we need to maintain 1500 feet, sorry. Okay, I will just keep it manual for now, so trim 0. And the trim is actually working automatically. I haven't flown the icon plane too much, but I can now see that the trim is automatic.
This is the downdraft side of the valley, so maintaining altitude may be tricky.
Okay. Let's try this anyway. I'm using the yoke to manually try to maintain 1500 feet. Just keeping an eye on my vertical speed as well as the altitude overall and the speed of the aircraft. So I am just using the yoke to manually try to stay around 1500 feet. For now it's not that bad, like it's I guess it's the Icon airplane. It's super easy to handle and it has very powerful engine, or a very nice ratio when it comes to your weight, the weight of the aircraft.
Dogfish Bay is just ahead. When
Okay.
bush flying, it is always wise to do a flyover of the landing site first to check the conditions of the strip.
Power back. We are
Start a gradual descent
flying
and
quite
we'll fly past the runway to take a look.
okay. Gradual descent then. Let's reduce the power as we are descending, and let's do a flyover. Okay, the airspeed is quite high, so let's pull the throttle even more back. Okay, we don't need a negative trim. What was that? Okay. We are gradually descending, but also flying over the water runway.
Looks good to me. Reduce speed to under 75 knots and descend to
Okay.
under 1,000 feet to prepare for approach.
Okay, we are under 1000 feet, but we need to slow down a bit more. So
Take the
flaps
first
10.
stage of flaps. Flaps 15 degrees.
Sorry, 15. Whoa.
This landing will be on a short grass
Okay,
runway.
extending landing gear,
Lower the
landing gear
gear.
down. Oh, we are landing on the grass. I thought we are landing on the...
Finally, take full flaps and perform a
okay,
short
full
field
flaps.
landing.
Full flaps. I thought we were landing on the water, but we are apparently landing on the grass field. And the engine is beautiful. It's extremely responsive. Like when you increase the power, it just immediately kicks in. So yeah, I really like this aircraft. I'm not sure how the training exercise is going when it comes to a score, but I love how this aircraft handles compared to the old Cessna 172. It's super responsive, it's light, and it has a powerful engine. When you throttle it, it immediately picks up the power, the airspeed. So yeah, for now it's just a pleasure to fly. I need a bit more power, otherwise I will end up in the water. So yeah, more power please. And let's land on the grass field up ahead in front of us. Okay, should be good, should be fine. We've got full flaps configuration, gear is down, and yeah, let's land on this grass field. Okay, throttle idle, and let's try to flare slightly at the end. Oh, too much of a flare. Nice, I like the last flare, the flare that I just did. Okay, parking brake on,
Well
brakes
done.
released.
Now you can proceed with confidence in your new abilities. With these newly acquired skills, you can explore some of the globe's most remote, little-seen corners.
Right. I love the airplane and everything that you can do with it. Oh! Nice. And we've got an A. First try, and it's an A. But I got to be honest here, like, come on, it wasn't my great skills. I mean, again, as always, I recommend the dedicated yoke and quadrant or throttle when it comes to playing a flight sim rather than a controller. But also the plane is just great. It's super forgiving. Like, if you mess up on the power side of the things, you can just add more throttle and you have an immediate response from the airplane. You can immediately accelerate. So, like, thank you, I will take the A, but the Icon airplane is just awesome. Like, you can land it anywhere, you can take off in a super short amount of space, and also when airborne, it's a wonderful airplane. I would say much better than the Cessna 172, but it's a different airplane, right? They don't have the same altitude limits, they don't have the same required kind of required paperwork, required licenses to fly the two airplanes. Like, they are not the same range. It's not, I mean, the range is not the same, so I get it that the Icon is a different kind of airplane when compared to Cessna 172, but still, it's much more, it's much more pleasant to fly the Icon when you just want to explore a region or do some bush flying. Cool, that's a good start. That's a really good start to the stream, to my after lunch gaming session. Right. Okay. Sorry, just some small adjustments so that you can also see the background of the game while I'll take my preferred activity, one of my preferred activities, and just talk while being on the middle of the screen. Anyway, let's go back to the sim and let's do some other flights. Cool, like this one went awesome. Like, I cannot use any other words, but oh, again, the Icon airplane is just, it's a wonderful, wonderful airplane. I'm not sure if I want to start this series. It's about flying IFR. Maybe not. I know I don't want to repeat this test right now. I kind of hate it, so let's leave it for now. Yeah, no, this sounds boring right now, so let's not do this. I think we might, yeah, I think I might start IFR just to see what happens here. So we are using the primary flight display to navigate the altitude, the angle of attack, so basically the vertical speed we are climbing at, and also the altimeter. Because we are in clouds, we will not be able to rely on just what we see. So, okay, it sounds interesting. Let's try this one. And later on, maybe let's switch to some landing challenges. Yeah, I don't know. I don't want to get irritated again, but I mean, landing challenges are challenging, and that's right, but the training ones should be easier. Anyway, let's go back. So now we need to start the climb, and it's happening in clouds, so we need to rely on the central display.
We're flying over the UK's Shetland Islands,
Okay.
just below a thick layer of clouds. Up until now, you've been able to look outside to judge the aircraft's
Right.
attitude and location. What happens when you lose that outside view?
Right.
That takes us into the world of instrument light. When you
Let's
can't
enable
use
the
horizon
beacon
for
and
reference
other
due to
lights.
clouds, darkness, or other hindrances to visibility, you'll need to rely on your
Oh,
airplane's
sorry, landing light
instruments.
is not needed. Let me
When
disable it.
flying on instruments alone,
Okay,
you'll
and
need to rely on your attitude indicator
Right.
to see your pitch and roll information.
oops, sorry.
Modern cockpits like this combine several instruments into one
Lights
electronic
off.
display called a primary flight display, or PFD.
PFD,
Stay
got
on
it.
heading 270, set full power, and climb
Full
up
power.
to 4,500 feet.
Okay, 270, 4,000 feet, full power, and we are climbing. Wait, heading was 270, right? I think it was 270. Oh, too much. I feel like
Climbing up into the cloud layer, notice how you're starting to lose your outside view.
that's true.
Instead of looking out the canopy, focus your attention on the cockpit instruments.
Right,
You can maintain wings level using the attitude indicator.
right.
Continue climbing to 4,500 feet.
Okay, 270, climbing to 4,500 feet. Got it, understood. Full power. Okay, and we are still climbing. I wonder if I could use the autopilot to cheat this one, this kind of challenge or exercise, but I think it's a bad idea, so let's do this manually. So heading to 70 and climbing to 4,500 feet. And using our PFD to do this, so the display in front of us, rather than just looking outside the window, where we can still see some reference points, but hey, 270, sorry, I'm off the heading. So very gentle.
Using the vertical speed indicator and the altimeter, level off at 4,500 feet while
Okay.
continuing to maintain a heading of 270.
Okay,
Now
okay,
fly straight and level at 4,500 feet, getting used to not having an outside horizon for reference.
sorry. 270, and I need to be around 4,500 feet. Whoa, I'm off the heading. Whoa, sorry. 270. That's weird. Okay, I'll agree. That's weird. That feels weird. Okay, 270 and
Okay, now keep
4,500.
us on this heading and take us down to 4,000 feet.
Okay.
Reduce power so that we can descend without gaining speed.
Okay. So 270, kind of. Okay, 270, and we are descending to 4,000 feet. Okay, got it. Okay, that feels weird. That's true. That feels weird. Just looking at the display. That's a cool exercise, actually. Okay, we're
Great.
almost done.
Increase power again for cruise and keep us at 4,000 feet.
Okay, power. Okay, 4,000 feet and 270. Oh, okay, more trim, please. Oh, too much power. Or too much trim, actually. Okay, not enough trim or power. End trim.
Great job. That's how things look and feel making altitude changes on instruments alone. You'll find
Okay.
it gets easier with experience. Next, we'll introduce turns.
Okay, we've got an A, but I gotta admit it wasn't... Okay, it caught me by surprise. The IFR, the instrument navigation, it wasn't super... It was a bit weird when in the clouds. I have no problem in looking at the display, but doing some action like correcting the attitude or something like correcting the heading or the the altitude, it felt a bit weird only relying on the instruments or the display and no visual like reference point outside the window. So wow, okay, it caught me by surprise. It was more interesting than I thought, so wow, okay. Okay, maybe let's do one more of the IFR. It was really good, the one we did. So what else do we have in our training here? Turning, which might be challenging. As I just mentioned, I was having some issues with the operating only on the display. Speed control, okay. Viewer basics, NDB, okay. ILS, oh, okay. Oh, ILS might be very interesting. I almost like never used ILS option in small aircrafts. So it might be very, very interesting. But yeah, let's follow the training plan with turns. Okay. Let's go throttle 50%. Parking brake disengaged. And we are ready to fly. Okay.
Now that you've tried some climbs and descents,
Right.
we'll introduce turning. Throughout
Okay.
this lesson, maintain your current altitude of 4,000 feet.
Okay.
Our heading is the direction our nose is pointing, measured in degrees. The main electronic display in front of you is the primary flight display, or PFD.
PFD,
At
got
the
it.
bottom center of the PFD, we see the horizontal situation indicator, or the HSI. The HSI shows us the direction our nose is pointing,
Right.
called our heading. Headings are measured in degrees,
Right.
with east being 090, south 180, west 270, and north 360. Currently, we're heading west. That's 270 degrees. When turning, we want to
270.
aim for a bank angle of around 20 degrees. Along the top of the attitude indicator are white lines.
Right.
Each line represents 10 degrees.
Okay, so two lines.
Normally, we use about 20 degrees of bank, which is the second white line. Let's try it out. Make a turn to the left onto heading 180 using 20 degrees of bank.
Okay, 180, 20 degrees of bank. 10 degrees of bank.
Keep turning until
20
heading
degrees of
south,
bank.
at which point smoothly roll back to wings level.
180. We are holding the bank and the altitude, and we are waiting for 180. Not yet, not yet. I think we can slowly
That's
start
it.
to roll back.
Stop turning there and you'll be heading due south, heading 180.
Yeah, a bit overshot it, but
Now try and
overall
maintain
it's
this
okay.
heading for a short while.
Sure. So 180, 4,000 feet, no worries. Okay. Sounds good. Sorry, I am
Now
a bit...
make a turn to the right onto a heading of 350.
Okay, 350, 20 degrees of bank. 20. 350, okay. Oh, a bit more bank, okay. 350, okay. So a bit more, a bit more. Okay. A bit more. 310. Okay. 330. Almost there, almost there.
Now smoothly roll wings level onto a heading of 350.
Oh.
Now maintain heading 350 for a bit.
350, 4,000 feet. Got it. Whoops, there's a kind of a wind. Ooh. Sorry. I used the rudder.
Wow, great job. So that's how we make turns using just the instruments. Next, we'll look at how to handle speed changes.
Okay. Another very interesting training. I was a bit skeptic. Oh, sorry, I didn't switch the camera. This must have sucked. Okay, anyway. I was a bit skeptical when it comes to the IFR trainings, but so far I'm having a blast. So let's continue. Speed control. All right. Sounds interesting. Okay, let me take a sip of water. Okay, IFR and also speed control. Cool. Let me just make some more room for. Let me just move aside my armrest so I have more room to control the yoke.
We're cruising at 100 knots, maintaining our heading and altitude.
Okay.
Let's look at how we deal with speed changes when flying on instruments. When slowing down, the wings produce less lift. To
Right.
counter this, you'll need to progressively raise the nose in order to maintain altitude.
Right.
Give it a try. Reduce power and bring the speed back to 70 knots.
Okay.
Remember to adjust the elevator trim so that you don't have to keep putting any pressure on the controls.
Okay. Oh, too much of a trim. Okay, not enough of a trim. Way not enough of a trim. Okay.
Good. Now set power to maintain 70 knots. Keep us steady on heading 350.
Wow, 350.
You wandered off the heading.
Yeah. Okay, 350. Okay, here we are. 350.
Try to maintain 4,000 feet altitude.
Okay.
Notice how the nose needs to be a little higher than before to make up for the loss of airspeed. Use the elevator trim to adjust pitch to the new speed and maintain 70 knots for a bit. You need to be able to control altitude while adjusting speed.
Right.
Maintain 70 knots. You weren't accurate enough with your speed.
Is the training lady unhappy with my speed?
Great. Now increase power to get your speed back up to 100 knots.
Okay. Let's decrease the trim. Okay. All right.
As we speed up, notice how you need to trim nose down to
Yeah,
avoid climbing.
I know.
That's it. Now stabilize at 100 knots.
Okay, more power. Okay, less power. No, rudder input, sorry, no yoke
Good.
input.
Now we'll take flap settings into account. Flaps give a boost in lift, which
Okay,
you'll
slow
need
to
to
60.
control in order to maintain our altitude. They also add drag, making us slow down more quickly, so be careful not to get too slow. Reduce power and slow us down to 60 knots.
Okay, so I
Good.
need more
Now
trim.
extend the flaps to 10 degrees.
Wait, what happened? What was that? My screen just went blank. Okay, something funky happened, but okay. Flaps 10.
Now set flaps at 20 degrees.
Okay, too much of a trim. 20 degrees.
With the
I
extra
need-
drag, start adding power so you don't drop
Right.
below your target airspeed of 60 knots.
Oops.
Now stabilize at 60 knots and trim for
Way,
level
way
flight.
too much trim.
Keep us steady on heading 350. You
350.
wandered off the heading.
Yeah, I know. Too much trim, still too much trim.
Wow, great job. Next, we'll look at navigating on
Okay,
instruments alone.
so she's happy. Is it an A? Oh. Okay. I mean, I was a bit worried about the score because there was a moment where she was displeased with how I lost my heading as well as the trim issues I had, but okay, it seems it worked out. So again, I'm really happy with this training session. I'm like, after coming from the irritating Cessna solo flight, like this one is really useful but also kind of pleasant. So yeah, let's see what happens here. Let's do one more at least of those. Okay. Okay, let's switch to our cockpit.
Now that you have the basics
Let's
of
level
flying
off.
the aircraft on instruments, let's look at navigation.
Oh, too much trim,
There
too
is
much
a
trim, too much
worldwide
trim.
network of radio beacons that
Still too much
pilots
trim.
use to find their way when flying
Okay, not enough trim.
IFR. The most common
almost.
beacon is the VOR. I've
Okay,
tuned the
we are
Sunbird
leveled.
VOR into your nav radio, which we're going to
Oh,
fly
too
toward.
much trim.
To get there, we'll use the Course Deviation Indicator, CDI. That's the green arrow and bar on the HSI. I've set the CDI for a course of 170. That means we want to arrive at the VOR on a heading of 170.
Okay,
The CDI
170.
shows us if we are on our selected course. If the bar is to the left of center, we need to fly to the left to recapture our course. The bar is currently over to the right, so keep flying on this heading and wait for the CDI bar to start moving towards the middle.
Okay, so I need to fly left and wait for the bar to move to the middle. Okay. Okay, it's moving to the
Keep
middle.
us on heading 240 for now.
Okay, 240, okay. I misunderstood it. Okay, 240. Okay. Okay, so I moved too quickly. I should wait for...
Here it comes. Now make a left turn onto heading 170.
Oh, I see. We are waiting for this line. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. Oh, so I need to align those lines. Okay. I get it. Okay.
Great.
Okay.
Now keep the CDI bar centered, and it'll take us to the VOR.
Okay. Okay. Whoops, too much. 170. Okay, a bit more trim. Is it centered? Is it not centered? Whoa, too much. Again. Damn it, I lost the the CDI.
You were way off on altitude holding. We're getting close to the VOR now. The CDI indications might become erratic or disappear when reaching a VOR, but this is normal. Keep flying straight ahead on heading 170 for a couple miles.
Okay,
Try to maintain
170.
4,000 feet altitude.
Okay. 170, 4,000 feet. Let's climb. Okay, climbing to 4,000, 170. 4,000 feet, 170 heading. Okay, let's level off. Okay, 4,000 feet.
I think a bit more practice may be
Damn.
a good idea.
We got a B. Oh, a C. Okay. I didn't see this one coming. Let's retry this one. It wasn't that bad, so I now understand what's happening with those lines, and I just need to keep a better trim. Okay, let's try again. Okay.
Now that you have the basics of flying the aircraft on instruments, let's
Let's
look
zoom
at
in.
navigation. There is a worldwide network of radio beacons that pilots use to find their way when flying IFR.
Okay, we
The
have to
most
keep
common
4,000
beacon
feet.
is the VOR. I've tuned the Sumberg VOR into your
270,
nav radio,
right? Oh, sorry,
which we're going
240
to fly
for now.
toward. To get there, we'll use the
Yeah,
course
240.
deviation indicator, CDI. That's the green arrow
And
and bar
4,000,
on the
sorry.
HSI. I've set the CDI for a course of 170. That means we want to arrive at the VOR on a heading of 170. The
Okay.
CDI shows us if we are on our selected course. If the bar is to the left of center, we need to fly to the left to recapture our course. The
And
bar
let's
is
stay on
currently over
4,000.
to the right, so keep flying on this heading and wait for the CDI bar to start moving towards the middle.
Okay, let's wait on this heading for 240, 4,000 feet. Let's hold 4,000 feet. Yeah, a bit less power. 240, 4,000 feet. Okay. Okay, it's looking better than the time before. So 240, 4,000 feet. Holding. Okay. Okay, a bit more trim. Okay.
Here it comes. Now make a left turn onto heading 170.
Okay, 170. And let's try not to lose the altitude. 170. Not yet, not yet.
Great. Now keep the CDI bar centered, and it'll take us to the VOR.
Okay, 170. And yeah, it's not centered, so let's and I am losing altitude, damn it. Wow, it got chaotic quickly. Wow, okay. Okay. 170. Okay. And 4,000 feet. Okay, too much power. Okay. Whew, it was chaotic again, but let's calm things down. So heading 170 and 4,000 feet. More trim, please. Too much trim. Okay, we seem to be leveling off. 4,000 feet, 170. Okay. Whoa. I'm having trouble keeping the CDI centered.
We're getting close to the VOR now. The CDI indications might become erratic or disappear when reaching a VOR, but this is normal. Keep flying straight ahead on heading 170 for a couple miles.
Okay. Okay. 170. Okay. Come on.
Well done, but there's room for improvement.
Okay, I screwed this up again. I know when it happened. Like, I had some serious issues when centering the line, so let's try this again. It's a good exercise, but I know precisely where I fucked it up. So I was holding 4,000 feet, which is good. I was holding the heading more or less accurately, but I didn't align I very poorly aligned the VFR. What's the name for it? I don't remember. Okay, let's
Now that you
start.
have the basics of flying the aircraft on instruments, let's look at navigation.
Okay.
There is a worldwide network of radio beacons that pilots use to find their way when flying IFR. The most common beacon is the VOR.
Okay.
I've tuned the
VOR.
Sunbird VOR into your nav radio, which we're going to fly toward. To get there, we'll use the course deviation indicator, CDI. That's the green arrow and bar on the HSI.
Right.
I've set the CDI for a course of 170. That means we want to arrive at the VOR on a heading of 170. The CDI shows us if we are on our selected course. If the bar is to the left of center, we need to fly to the left to recapture our course. The bar is currently over to the right, so keep flying on this heading and wait for the CDI bar to start moving towards the
More
middle.
trim. We are descending. We want to hold 4,000 feet. Still descending, more trim. Okay. 241. We are holding 240. Very nice. The most problem I have is to align the green bar that's coming up soon. Oh, and we are descending, which I didn't want to do.
Here it comes. Now
Okay.
make a left turn onto heading 170.
Okay. Slowly, slowly, we need to align it first. Okay, 170. Not yet aligned, not yet aligned. Okay. Maybe, now. Okay, almost aligned.
Great. Now keep the CDI bar centered, and it'll take us to the VOR. You were way off on altitude
I know.
holding.
Oh, sorry.
Try to maintain 4,000 feet altitude.
A bit more to the right. And now 170. Okay, and altitude.
You were way off on
I know,
altitude holding.
I'm climbing, sorry. 170. Okay, 169, 170. Okay, and let's hold 4,000 feet.
We're getting close to the VOR now. The CDI indications might become erratic or disappear when reaching a VOR, but this is normal. Keep flying straight ahead on heading 170 for a couple miles.
Okay. Okay, 170. A bit less trim, as I am still. Okay, I think that's it. That's the sweet spot of the trim versus power. Okay, 170, 4,000 feet. Again, it didn't go perfectly. I didn't align it in time, but it was better than before. So there is at least some progress. Okay, 170, 4,000 feet. Let's keep this heading.
Well
And
done,
altitude.
but there's room for improvement.
Oh, another BRC. God damn. Yeah, I will try this one once again. Like, it should be easy, fairly easy. But I am fucking this up. Going off course or just losing altitude. I am tempted to use the autopilot just to hold the altitude, but... Wait, can I cheese it? Can I use the autopilot here? Can I don't know.
Now that you have the basics of flying the aircraft on instruments, let's look at navigation.
Can I use autopilot?
There is
like,
a
for the
worldwide
altitude?
network of radio beacons that pilots use to find their way
Yeah,
when
I can.
flying
It's 4,000
IFR.
feet.
The most common beacon is the VOR.
Okay, let's use the
I've tuned
autopilot.
the Sunberg VOR into your nav
So
radio,
currently
which
we
we're
are
going to
holding
fly
4,000
toward.
feet using
To get there,
autopilot.
we'll use the course deviation indicator, CDI. That's the green arrow and bar on the HSI.
And
I've
let's
set
use
the
heading
CDI
to
for a
turn.
course of 170. That means we want to arrive at the VOR on a heading of 170.
Okay.
The CDI shows us if we are on our selected course.
Ladies and gentlemen, we
If the
are
bar
kind
is
of
to the
cheesing
left of
the game
center,
and
we
using
need
the
to fly to
autopilot.
the left to recapture our course.
Alright,
The bar
it
is
might be the
currently over to the
correct
right.
path.
So keep flying on this heading and wait for the CDI bar to start moving towards the middle.
Alright. So we are using the autopilot with the set altitude of 4,000 feet and for now heading 240. Yeah, it should be much more pleasant now. So let's just change the heading once we are closer to the CDI green line. Alright. I somehow thought I have to do this manually, but now that I'm using the autopilot, it's just so much easier, at least to control the altitude and the heading. So yeah, let's.
Here it comes.
All
Now
right.
make a left turn onto heading 170.
All right, 170, left heading, left turn. 170. Alright, the green line is almost aligned.
Great. Now keep the
Cool.
CDI bar centered, and it'll take us to the VOR.
It is centered and we are following a heading 170 using the heading autopilot as well as 4,000 feet. Oh, crap. You saw it just a second ago. Our green line got misaligned, so the turn was not sharp enough. Okay, we need to get the green line back into our focus. Damn it. Okay, now 170. 170. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Keep CDI centered. We are doing that. And we are also following heading 170. Damn it, and it got misaligned again.
We're getting close to the VOR now.
I think I
The
fucked it up
CDI
again.
indications
Okay, let's just
might become erratic
speed
or
up.
disappear when reaching a VOR, but this is
Okay,
normal.
but using Autopilot, I should be able to do this on the next retry quite easily. I just need to make a sharper turn, and that's it. Using the Autopilot, it's much easier. So I'm really optimistic. Probably another B coming our way right now, but in the future it should be much easier if I can use this Autopilot legitly without any failures on the test. Okay. Come on, come on, come on. Please give me a score. If it's a B, I'm okay. I will just repeat it.
Well
But
done.
now,
But there's
yeah,
room
it's
for
a B.
improvement.
Cool. No worries. Let's retry. I'm fine with retrying this. Now that I know that I can use the Autopilot. Cool. Now I get the feeling that now it's going to be an A. So let's start by, okay, landing light is on. Anyway, let's start by enabling the Autopilot.
Now that you have the basics of
4,000
flying
feet.
the aircraft on instruments, let's look at navigation.
Okay.
There is a
Let's follow
worldwide
the
network
heading
of radio beacons that
240.
pilots use to find their way
Okay.
when flying IFR. The most common beacon is the VOR. I've tuned the Sumberg VOR into your nav radio, which we're going to fly toward.
Alright.
To get there,
Let's
we'll
do
use
this.
the course deviation indicator, CDI. That's the green arrow and bar on the HSI. I've set the CDI for a course of 170. That means we want to arrive at the VOR on a heading of 170. The CDI shows us if we are on our selected course. If the bar is to the left of center, we need to fly to the left to recapture our course. The bar is currently over to the right, so keep flying on this heading and wait for the CDI bar to start moving towards
Okay,
the middle.
okay, let's do this. This is the most tricky part, like the green bar, aligning the green bar. Once I get it aligned, then I just follow the heading and it should be an easy A, but I need to get it right, the alignment part. So I will just pull the throttle down or make it idle and then use the Autopilot. Maybe it will slow the aircraft down and the turn will align the green bar. Let's try this approach.
Here it comes.
Okay,
Now make a left
Power
turn onto
off.
heading 170.
and let's start 170. Go, go, go. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Okay, 170.
Great. Now keep the CDI bar centered, and it'll take us to the VOR.
Okay. Did it work? Did it work? Because previously it worked, but then it got misaligned. Are we okay? Oh, I almost stole the aircraft, sorry. I think it worked. Okay, we are coming back to 4,000 feet. 170. Hopefully I don't get screwed by the altitude change. Sorry for that. I pulled the power too far back. But we are following 170. 4,000 feet now. And it's looking like we are aligned when it comes to the green line, the CDI. So hopefully an A now, A score rating. I will keep an eye on the power just so we don't overspeed, but I have high hopes when it comes to this attempt. Okay, throttle back as we are approaching 110 knots. Okay, a bit more power. Okay, let's take it to 115, 120 knots. I want to know the results.
We're getting close to the VOR now. The CDI indications might become erratic or disappear when reaching a VOR, but this is normal. Keep flying straight
Throttle
ahead
back.
on heading 170 for a couple miles.
Okay, a bit more throttle. A bit less throttle. Okay, I think I got it. I think it's an A. The only thing that went not so great was the altitude. I pulled the power back too far away and the altitude started dropping, but I don't think I should have that much points taken for
great
it.
job.
Oh,
Now we'll turn our attention to a different type of
I think it's an A. Yeah, it's an A. Cool. Yeah. I mean, the key point here was to use the autopilot. Like, doing this manually would have sucked. So, yeah, using the autopilot was the key to success here. Can I use the autopilot on the next challenge? I think so. Let's maybe try to immediately engage the autopilot just to hold the altitude, and yeah, and we're gonna see next what happens when it comes to instructions, but the autopilot should be a good idea here. So let me engage the autopilot.
This time we'll focus on non-directional beacons.
Okay,
or
I engaged the
NDB.
autopilot, 4,000
The
feet
NDB
holding.
is tuned on the automatic direction finding ADF radio and is shown as a blue needle on the HSI. As Sumberg NDB is tuned, the needle is pointing straight towards it, which is to our right. Maintain 4,000 feet and heading 180, and watch
Okay,
what the
heading
needle does.
180. Let's change the heading to 180 and let's watch apparently what the needle does. I guess it's the blue needle on 20, 23, 22 currently. Sorry, it's 21. Yeah. 23, almost 24. Okay. So it's moving. Sorry, wrong camera again.
Notice how the needle always points directly towards the NDB. As we continue to fly south,
Right.
the needle moves farther toward the bottom of the HSI. The needle will move whenever we are not traveling directly to or from the NDB.
Okay.
Make a turn to the right, towards the NDB needle.
Okay, let's use the heading to turn to the right towards the MDB needle. Let's actually set the position, the heading on the MDB needle. So it's heading 262 apparently, or it's still moving. 267. Alright, a bit more power. A bit less power, less throttle.
Good. Now follow the blue NDB needle all the way to the beacon.
Okay, so I will just use the heading to follow the blue needle if it changes headings. Alright, sounds easy enough. Again, manually, this would be a bad idea. It is good that I finally understood that these challenges, those trainings, point you towards using autopilot. this makes holding 4,000 feet effortless. Okay, a bit more throttle.
We're getting close. An NDB needle becomes more sensitive as we get nearer, but
okay.
resist the urge to make any large corrections.
So, oh shit, so I should not change the heading? Oh fuck, okay.
Now see how the needle spins around and points behind us. Wow, great job. You've now taken a look at basic IFR navigation.
All
So
right.
next we'll cover how to get us on the ground.
Okay. Cool. Okay, this was easy. All right. Okay. So we've got our last two IFR trainings, and it is approach and then the full training. So I guess in the approach, like, I will be flying manually, not using the autopilot, but then in the IFR test, I will use the autopilot for sure. So let me actually try those two. I think it's a pretty nice training. I'm really enjoying this more than I thought I would. So yeah, let's do this. All right, let's go. Approach.
So now you've got the basics of flying on instruments.
Right.
Now we need to get back on the ground. The most common landing aid is the Instrument Landing System, or ILS for short.
ILS.
An ILS uses two directional radio signals, one for lateral guidance called a localizer, and the other for vertical guidance called the glide slope. The
Right.
localizer provides lateral guidance, which directs you onto the runway centerline. The glide slope provides the intended descent angle onto the runway. The localizer is displayed with a CDI, much like in the VOR lesson. Keep flying on a heading of 210 at 1,500 feet, and we'll watch for the localizer to come alive. The localizer is moving now. Make a gentle turn to the right, intercepting the localizer and keeping the CDI in the middle.
I engaged autopilot too late. I think I overshot it. I need to correct the heading.
Good.
Oh
Now
shit,
keep
it's
the
here.
localizer
Okay.
bar centered and maintain 1,500 feet. The glide slope is displayed next to the altimeter on your PFD. If the green glide slope diamond is above center, you are below the glide path. We always start out below the glide slope, as we want to intercept the localizer first. We'll wait for the glide slope to start moving.
Okay, so I probably need to disengage the autopilot once this glide slope starts moving. Yeah, I don't think this Cessna can land fully on autopilot.
Here comes the glide slope. Maintain 1,500 feet until it almost reaches the center.
Okay. Oh, I see it. Okay. Okay, I see it. Here's the glide slope here. Alright. We've got this.
Here it comes. Now reduce power a little and start to descend, using the VSI to aim for 500 feet per minute.
Okay, autopilot disengaged. Whoa, 500 feet per minute. Okay. Okay.
Keep both the localizer and glide slope indications centered all the way down to the ground.
Okay.
Reduce speed and set flaps as needed as you make your way down the ILS.
Alright. Yeah, too much power reduced. And gear is down, right? Yeah, it is. Okay, but I get it more or less. Okay. Okay, the puppy lights look good. 2 red, 2 white ones. Whoops. We are ascending. Okay. Okay. I think my angle is bad, so I will need to move a bit left. Okay. Yeah.
We're approaching the runway. This approach has an offset, meaning that the localizer and runway aren't lined up together exactly. Focus on following the ILS for now. We'll transition to a visual landing once we're closer to touchdown.
Okay.
Make only small corrections and remember that each will be more critical as we approach touchdown.
Okay. Oh, that's a short runway. I just noticed now. I know it's a light plane, but that's a short runway. Okay, let's do more flaps. And even more flaps. I think full configuration now. Okay, power idle, and I've got control.
Great. Now is a good time to transition from flying on instruments to using visual cues to complete the landing.
Okay,
Get
more
us
power.
down onto the runway and then come to a smooth stop.
Okay. So now it's just VFR and full flaps. More power. And here we are. Oh, too big of a flare. Okay, it was quite smooth. I like it.
Well done, but there's room for improvement.
Yeah. Okay, so the problem was my approach. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't aligned properly, so let's try this one more time. And now, right, now I can what to change? I definitely need to align the ILS approach better, but then I just need to do a better job controlling manually the approach. Okay, let's try this one more time. If it doesn't work, then I will just skip ahead to the full test at the end of this session. Okay, let's go. Autopilot altitude.
So now you've got the basics of flying on
Engaged.
instruments. Now we need to get back on the ground. The most common
Right.
landing aid is the Instrument Landing System,
Okay.
or ILS for short.
Okay.
An ILS uses two directional radio signals. One for
Autopilot
lateral guidance
engaged.
called a localizer,
Heading
and the
and
other
holding
for vertical guidance
1500
called the glide
altitude.
slope. The localizer provides lateral guidance, which directs you onto the runway centerline. The glide slope provides the intended descent angle onto the runway. The localizer is displayed with a CDI, much like in the VOR lesson.
Okay, a bit less power.
Keep flying on a heading of 210 at 1,500 feet.
Okay,
and
heading
we'll
to
watch for
10.
the localizer to come alive. The localizer is moving now. Make a gentle turn to the right, intercepting the localizer and keeping the CDI in the middle.
Okay. This might be a bit too aggressive of line?
Now keep the localizer bar centered and maintain 1,500 feet. The glide slope is displayed next to the altimeter on your PFD.
Right, I see
If the
it.
green glide slope diamond is above center, you are below the glide path.
Okay, I need to move a
We
bit
always
left.
start out below the glide slope, as we want to intercept the localizer first. We'll
Okay,
wait for the
go
glide
a
slope to
bit
start
left.
moving.
A bit more left, please. Okay. Okay, I'm still way over to the right of the landing strip, so let's correct this. Okay, now I think it should be better. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it's better. So let's hold 260 for now.
Here comes the glide slope. Maintain 1,500 feet until it almost reaches the center.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. A bit less power.
Here it comes. Now
Okay.
reduce power a little and start to descend, using the VSI to aim for 500 feet per minute.
Okay, autopilot is engaged, and we are aiming at around 500 feet per minute. Okay, 500 feet per minute, vertical speed. I am keeping manually
Keep both the
control.
localizer and glide slope indications centered all the way down to the
A
ground.
bit more power.
Reduce speed and set flaps as
Okay.
needed as you make your way down the ILS.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Don't worry. Flaps. Okay, 500 vertical speed per minute. Okay, a bit too much, 600. Let's correct this manually. More speed. Even more speed, please. Okay, too much of a speed. Alright, let's move to the left side of the landing strip. Okay. Okay, 400 per minute. We need a bit more. Okay, I've got a lot of trim. I need to change this
We're
trim down.
approaching the runway. This approach has an offset, meaning that the localizer and runway aren't lined up together exactly. Focus on following the ILS for now. We'll transition to a visual landing once we're closer to touchdown. Make only small corrections and remember that each will be more critical as we approach touchdown.
Okay. 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 More power.
Great. is a good time to transition from flying on instruments to using visual cues to complete the landing. Get us down onto the runway and then come to a smooth stop.
Alright, full flaps. And let's land. Whoa, I need more power. Okay, was it a better approach? I'm not sure. Yeah, for sure the landing wasn't better than before, but I'm not sure about the approach, so I
Well
don't know.
done, but there's room for improvement.
Yeah, there's room for improvement, so I fucked it up somewhere else. Yeah, the approach is just terrible. You can see it clearly, like the first section, the ILS approach, intercepting the ILS approach, it's beautiful, but the approach sucks. I think I need to do a better job of keeping the attitude correct. Yeah. I would like to try it again, but it's a bad decision most of the time. So, okay, let's try it one last time, and whatever happens now, let's do the final exam after this. So, last chance to repeat this particular test or training. Okay, let's use autopilot, altitude, engaged, heading.
So now you've got the basics
Good.
of flying on instruments. Now we need to get back on the ground. The most common landing aid is the Instrument Landing System, or ILS for
Let's zoom
short.
in.
An ILS uses two directional radio signals, one for lateral guidance called a localizer, and the other for vertical guidance called the glide slope. The localizer provides lateral guidance, which directs you onto the runway centerline.
Okay.
The glide slope provides the intended descent angle onto the runway. The localizer is displayed with a CDI, much like in the VOR lesson. Keep flying on a heading of 210 at 1,500 feet,
Okay.
and we'll watch for the localizer to come alive.
Right.
The localizer is moving now. Make a gentle turn to the right, intercepting the localizer and keeping the CDI in the middle.
Okay. Did it work? I think it did.
Good. Now keep the localizer bar centered and maintain 1,500 feet. The glide slope is displayed
Yeah.
next to the altimeter on
It's
your
looking
PFD.
quite okay.
If the green glide slope diamond is above center, you are below the glide path. We always start out below the glide slope, as we want to intercept the localizer first. We'll wait for the glide slope to
Yeah,
start
this is the
moving.
tricky part. This is the part that I get completely wrong. So it's following the green dot on the right hand side. I need to do this better. So I need to try to basically disregard what's happening with the altitude and like heading and so on, and just keep an eye on the right hand side green dot that is now descending. So let's try to get prepared to disengage the autopilot and just do
Here
whatever
comes
it
the
takes
glide
to
slope. Maintain 1,500
to maintain this
feet
green.
until it almost reaches the center.
Right, to maintain this green dot in the middle of the screen, of the line. So basically it needs to be around this blue line that it's almost hitting now. So ready to disengage autopilot.
Here it comes. Now reduce power a little and start to descend, using the
Autopilot
VSI
disengaged.
to aim for 500 feet per minute.
Okay, and now I just need to use the controls to try to maintain this display.
Keep both the localizer and glide slope indications centered all the way down to the ground. Reduce speed and set flaps as needed as you make your way down the ILS.
Yeah, okay. So it's too high. Speed is not there. Okay. $270. Okay, it's kind of centered now, so I just need to maintain it. Again, it's not perfect, but kind of centered. Oh, not too much. Oh, not enough. Okay. Okay, it's centered again. Oh, it is centered now, okay.
Approaching the runway. This approach has an offset, meaning that the localizer and runway aren't lined up together exactly. Focus on following the ILS for now. We'll transition to a visual landing once we're closer to touchdown.
Okay.
Make only small corrections and remember that each will be more critical as we approach touchdown.
It feels so weird just looking at the screen and not what's really happening outside. But okay, let's keep the green dot happy. And also the ILS approach. So a bit more to the left. Oh, come on. Oh no. The green dot is really not happy.
Great. Now is a good time to transition
Fuck.
from flying on
I'm not sure if it
instruments
worked.
to using visual cues to complete the landing. Get us down onto the runway and then come
Yeah,
to a
let's
smooth
just land.
stop.
I'm not sure if it worked, but yeah, I was trying hard to keep those lines aligned and also the green dot happy, so at least I was trying. Okay, we've landed. Whatever happened. So let's see the score and move on to the next final.
Well done, but there's room for
Yeah.
improvement.
Apparently I fucked it up. Let's screw this. I am not doing this anymore today. Yeah, bullshit. Yeah, let's see the final exam. So I will definitely be using the autopilot as much as possible. So I plan to take off. I immediately turn on the autopilot and then yeah, and then I need to do a manual approach, which sucks. Okay, so we are already airborne.
All right, it's time to put what you've learned into practice. We're at 5,000 feet following a GPS route towards Sunberg.
Okay,
I'll ask you to perform some handling tasks to test
Okay.
your IFR flying skills.
sounds good.
Follow the GPS as shown in magenta on your CDI,
Oh, sorry.
maintaining 5,000 feet and 110 knots.
Okay. Let's slow down to 110 knots. A bit less power. A bit more. And we are around 110 knots. Wait, what's happening? Why isn't the check green? I don't get it. Okay, maybe we need to fly more. We are at 1,000.
Okay, still maintaining the GPS course. Take us down to 3,500 feet, keeping
Alright.
110 knots airspeed.
Alright, 3,500 feet. Got it. Oh shit, I fucked it up. Altitude, okay. 3,500 altitude. Okay. Okay. Oh, maybe I can use the autopilot actually to control the vertical speed in the previous challenge. Hey, that's an idea. That's an idea. I can, in the previous challenge, in the approach challenge or training, I can still use the autopilot to control the vertical speed. I don't have to disengage it. Wow, I didn't think about this before. Again, exploiting the autopilot instead of my shitty pilot skills. Good, we are at 110 knots and we are descending. Let's increase the descent rate to 500. And we need to slow down. Oops, sorry, too much, 600. No. Let's descend at the rate of minus 500 and let's maintain 110 knots. Oh, too much throttle. Just a little bit less throttle. It's looking good. So we are descending to 3,500 feet and I am manually maintaining the 110 knots. Alright. Okay. Looking good. I will actually try to use the computer or the autopilot for this landing before disengaging. Like, I will just set the vertical speed to minus 500. Altitude to what? I don't know, 0? 1? And just try to cheese the game by using the autopilot, even for the approach. A bit more throttle, as we are not at 110 knots. Okay. Let's change the heading to 141. 142 maybe, as the GPS is starting to get misaligned. Okay, a bit less power. Okay, it's looking pretty much okay. A bit more throttle to maintain 110 knots. And the aircraft is starting to level off at the requested 3,500 feet. Let's add more power.
Next, keep us at 3,500 feet and make a left turn onto heading 060.
Alright, 060 heading coming right up. Left hand turn 060. Okay, heading 060 has been set in the autopilot. Let's maintain 110 knots. And the altitude is holding.
Alright, let's throw some other things your way.
Alright.
Please bring the speed back to 70 knots.
70 knots. Alright. Okay, throttle idle. We are slowing down. Okay, let's start bringing the power back on. Too early, okay.
2,500 feet, 70 knots, and turn us to the right onto heading 225.
Alright, heading 225, and I need to control the airspeed. Heading 225. I need to watch the airspeed. Okay, the speed is okay for now. Oh, a bit slowing down. Heading 225. More power. Heading 225. Okay, heading 225. Okay, heading is set and the airspeed is looking good. Alright. Looking good.
Okay, now get us back to 110 knots.
Okay, 110 knots. Full throttle, and let's slow down. Not yet, too early. Okay. And we are almost at 110 knots.
Wow, great job. The ability to fly IFR accurately and safely opens up a whole new world of
Alright, I think we've
possibilities.
passed the test. I think that's the
Remember,
end.
you can come back and repeat this test anytime you like if you want to brush up on your skills.
Alright, so it was a very pleasant training. There is only one remaining thing in the IFR, and this is the stupid approach, but I have a plan now. Let me try to use the autopilot longer. So previously I disengaged as soon as the approach, like the final approach, started, but now I plan to still use it and just set the vertical speed to minus 500 and continue to use the autopilot and just take the controls at the last stage of the approach. So yeah, okay, autopilot, altitude.
So now you've got the
And
basics
heading.
of flying on instruments.
Maybe this is
Now we
what
need
I've
to
been
get back
missing.
on the ground. The
have
most
a
common landing aid is the
good
Instrument
plan
Landing
here.
System, or ILS for short.
Let's do
An
this.
ILS uses two-directional radio signals.
So now the tricky part
one
will
for
be to
lateral
align the
guidance
green
called
line.
the localizer, and the other for
Once we've
vertical
got this, I
guidance
think
called
then
the glide slope.
I think
The
I got
localizer
this
provides
from
lateral
there.
guidance, which directs you onto the runway center line. The glide slope provides the intended descent angle onto the runway. The localizer is displayed with the CDI, much like in the VOR lesson. Keep flying on a heading of 210 at 1,500 feet, and we'll watch for the
Okay,
localizer
heading
to come
210.
alive. The localizer is moving now. Make a gentle turn to the right, intercepting the localizer and keeping the CDI in the middle.
Okay. Let's try to align the green line to the middle. Did it work? I think
Good.
it did.
Now keep the localizer bar centered and maintain 1,500 feet. The glide slope is displayed next to the altimeter on your PFD.
I think
The
the green line
glide
is
slope
aligned,
diamond
right?
is above center. You are below the glide path. We always start out below the glide slope, as we want to intercept the localizer first. We'll wait for the glide slope to start moving.
Okay, so the plan is to maintain 1500 feet, but once I'm supposed to start descending, then I will move the altitude to 0 and start a vertical speed minus 500 descent using the autopilot. So let's see if my devilish plan works.
Here comes the glide slope. Maintain 1,500 feet until it almost reaches the center.
All right. Oh wow, I am way off the green marker. So it was the other way around. I fucked it up. Okay, damn it,
Here it
always
comes.
something.
Now reduce power a little and start to descend, using the VSI to aim for 500 feet per minute.
Okay, 500 feet per minute. Got it. .500 feet per minute. Cool. And altitude to 0. Yeah, 500. Oh, too much.
Keep both the localizer and glide slope indications centered all the way down to the ground. Reduce speed and set flaps as needed as you make your way down the ILS.
Right, reduce speed. That's true. That's a good idea. And I'm going too fast, so let me just pull the ILS. Sorry, the vertical speed to 450. It's better than 550. Okay. Alright, so we're continuing the descent using the autopilot. 450, 400 now. Let's actually increase the vertical speed. Okay. 450 per minute, 500. Okay. The green line is kind of aligned. It's not perfectly aligned, but it's better than before. So fingers crossed. I think this approach is looking better and better now. Okay. Sorry, the heading is still wrong.
We're approaching the runway. This approach has an offset, meaning that the localizer and runway aren't lined up together exactly. Focus on following the ILS for now. We'll transition to a visual landing once we're closer to touchdown.
Okay.
Make only small corrections and remember that each will be more critical as we approach touchdown.
Right.
500.
Wait, oh, I think I got too high of a vertical speed. Yeah, it was too high. Okay. Let's control the vertical speed a bit more. Let's keep an eye on the green dot.
Great. Now is a good time to transition from flying on instruments to using visual cues to complete the landing. Get us down onto the runway and then come to a smooth stop.
Alright. Okay, full flaps. And oh, autopilot is engaged. Alright, I'm curious to see like whether it helped with my score. Is it an A now, or is it still not good enough? Okay, let's reduce the vertical speed. And it was a kind of a bounce, but at the same time the vertical speed was quite low, so...
Wow, great job.
Oh, I think we've got an A.
IFR nav 6.DLG_outro_grade_A.
Alright, whatever it was, okay. Cool, barely, but it's an A, so I will take it. And I wasn't planning on doing this, but during this session I completed the IFR navigation training and I got all the A's. Cool. I wasn't planning this, but I really enjoyed it. Like, the key to success was basically using the autopilot, so a lot of heading usage, altitude and vertical speed for landing as well. It was really useful and definitely highly recommended to use the autopilot rather than try to do this manually. This was my mistake at the beginning. Right, I think that's it for today. I think that's it for now when it comes to Microsoft Flight Sim. I will take a short break and then play some more regular games. Maybe Weird West, maybe This is the Police too. But for now, I was kind of surprised by the IFR navigation training. It was really interesting and useful. I need to start using ILS more when landing in some challenges. I wasn't using this nearly as much as I should have been. So yeah, quite interesting. And yeah, another time I will try the first solo flight challenge again, but I need to figure out first how to do a vertical climb maintaining 75 knots, as currently it's not working for me, whatever settings I try. But yeah, that's it for now. So I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed the IFR training challenges, or basically trainings that I did. And as always, make sure to catch up some of my other streams. And for now,